Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to be talking about what masking can look like how it can manifest in a person. Remember, disclaimer, this isn't how it's going to look for everyone. I haven't got, I'm not going to be touching up on every single way that masking can look, how it can manifest, but these are some of the ways masking can manifest and look on an ADHD or on a neurodivergent. Just anyone who masks, this is how it can look. So the first way masking can manifest, can look, so a lot of us ADHDs struggle to maintain eye contact, like direct eye contact, and that's because it can make many of us feel super uncomfortable. It's like they're staring into our soul. But a lot of people also kind of assume that if we aren't looking you direct in the eye, we're not listening at all. But the thing is, our eyes don't listen, our ears do, and our eyes are generally, it doesn't matter where we're looking. If we're not looking you in the eye, it doesn't mean we're not listening. People need to stop assuming that. But a lot of us ADHDers will mask, and we will, this is how we mask, and that is by we force ourselves, okay? We force ourselves to look people in the eye. We will literally be in our own head saying, look them in the eye, look them in the eye, look them in the eye, look them in the eye. Like, we will force ourselves to look people in the eye without, and it's like you're looking too much in the eye. Stop looking in the eye, so you look away and you look them in the eye. We've got this constant conflict of do this, do that, look them in the eye. You're looking too much in the eye, you look like a serial killer, you look like a psycho, stop staring at them. Like, we don't know, it just feels very uncomfortable for many of us ADHDers. But a lot of us ADHDs will mask by forcing ourselves to maintain eye contact for quite a long time, because we just don't know, is that enough eye contact? Is it too much eye contact? It can just get a little bit crazy up in here during a conversation when we're trying to navigate, if we're so a lot of us ADHDers can force ourselves to maintain eye contact when it's very, very uncomfortable for us. But we do it because we know that a lot of people would assume we're not listening, that society expects us to make eye contact, and obviously if you're making eye contact, obviously you're listening. But the thing is, I can look you dead in the eye and just not hear a single word you're saying, so it doesn't really matter if I'm looking you in the eye or not. I'm probably not gonna hear a word you say anyway. But yeah, we force ourselves to fit into society's kind of norm, and we force ourselves to maintain and hold eye contact, because if we don't, we're seen as rude. So a lot of us ADHDers will try to act normal. What is normal? But we are made to believe that we aren't normal because we don't fit society's kind of box. We're not in that box, we don't fit in that box, we're outside the box. But people kind of assume that if you're not in that box, you're not normal, and we are made to believe we're not, because our behaviours, the way that we are, the way, we're just made to believe that we're not normal. So a lot of us ADHDers will copy and paste people around us and try to act, try to speak, try to copy how other people are behaving, how they talk, how they act, how they move, how they, basically we will just copy and paste the people around us, because it's like we have to, because unless we're being somebody else, we're not accepted into society. So a lot of us ADHDs will generally try to act normal, because that's how we're going to mask who we are, because we can't let our disguise, we can't let that mask slip, because God forbid we be who we really are. So a lot of us are flooded with feelings, thoughts, emotions, okay, and they can be very intense, they can change rapidly, and a lot of people will be like, oh my god, what is going on with this person? But the thing is, we are flooded with them, and a lot of us ADHDs, when we're out around people that we aren't very comfortable around, that they don't know us very well, and we feel like we have to pretend to be somebody else, we have to mask, we can suppress all of those, and we can just keep them all into a ball until we're somewhere we feel safe, somewhere we feel not very vulnerable. Then we can let the ball explode. But unless we feel safe and in an environment where we don't feel judged, we're going to suppress our feelings and thoughts, because we can't let anybody know how we're feeling, because we're just made to believe that what we're feeling is invalid, that ADHD isn't that bad, because nobody understands how hard and how exhausting ADHD is. you know, they just make you feel like your thoughts and feelings and emotions are invalid because they're not normal. But they are normal, they are valid. But a lot of people don't understand that. So when we're out in society, out in public with people that we may not necessarily feel comfortable around, or we feel like we have to be somebody else to be accepted into the environment, into the employment, like we just suppress all of those until we get home to our safe place. Again, this isn't every ADHD or every person who is neurodivergent. This is generally just something that I do, and that is I rehearse and I mentally script everything. Like, I like to have a script in my head that will explain, like, I can follow this script and it'll make me look normal. Like, if I say this, if I say that, if I say this, I follow the script that I've got in my head, so that in every conversation I could be like mentally reading off this script that I've mentally prepared, so that I know, oh, I'm not going to look like a weirdo if I don't know this. And I like to have this kind of thing rehearsed in my head so that I know what I'm going to say, what I shouldn't say, and I won't go off the track, even though I do all the time. But in my head, like, if I have a script, then I know, oh well, I'll say this, and this will make me look cool, this will make me look accepted, this will look like I'm normal. Like, yeah, it's just how it works in my head. But a lot of ADHDs, a lot of neurodivergents will generally rehearse and mentally like script what they're going to say if they're going into a conversation or they're going out to a party or something like that. They will mentally script, mentally prepare kind of what they're going to say. And this is like preparing and rehearsing like conversations over and over and over before they go, like just before we go socialise, so that we're not going to talk about stuff that isn't cool or that isn't classed as cool, basically. So again, this is kind of the same as the one before, but this one is about kind of like mirroring and reflecting other people's kind of like how they act, facial expressions, body language, behaviour. A lot of people use the technique like mirroring and reflecting the people around them. Obviously it will change all the time because you're never really in the same environment, but whoever you're with, whatever environment you are with, you basically reflect and mirror other people's body language, how they speak, how they talk, you know, how they move and how they interact with other people. It's just a way of kind of like masking that you're not comfortable in this situation. You may not fully understand social cues, but by copying other people, it's almost like, oh, I'm fitting in. You're camouflaging into the background so that you don't look like the odd one out. So a lot of you guys will understand when I say socializing can be seriously draining and exhausting for us ADHDers. It's like we've done a workout. When we go out for a coffee, it's like, oh my god. Socializing can be super invasive and just overwhelming. It's noisy and people expect too much from us sometimes. So a form of masking can be kind of like cancelling social plans last minute, agreeing to do something and then like absolutely regretting it. Be like, oh my god, no, I don't want, I can't do that. And you push yourself too far and you push yourself too far out of your comfort zone, and you're left feeling like, I can't do this because you've put too much pressure on yourself. So you end up like cancelling social plans, cancelling commitments because you just can't do it, and you put too much pressure on yourself and other people expect too much from you. And not, like I said, the form of just cancelling and just not doing anything socially because you just can't cope. It's a way of us masking so we don't have to put ourselves in that environment. I know this one is something that I personally go through still, and it was a big thing for me, and I can see it all throughout my childhood. And this one is pretending to be interested in topics that your peers are interested in. So for example, drinking alcohol, you know, relationships, partying and stuff like that. Some people might not be interested in that, but for me that was a huge thing growing up. Like all these girls that I used to hang out with, you know, would go get drunk, would go do this, go do that, and I didn't want to do that, but I pretended that I want to and that I did it. And you know, I pretended that I did because I was so interested in this thing, because I didn't want to be left out. I didn't want to feel left out. I didn't want to feel so isolated all the time. I didn't want other people to think I was weird. But I used to just pretend that I was interested in these things because I didn't know what else to do. So I really hope that you have enjoyed this video. Remember to like and subscribe down below. I really appreciate all your engagement and chatting with me and everything like that. So thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate all your support, and I'll see you next time. Bye. bye.